established Rich coming right back at you. And today we got to talk about Chud the Builder. But Chud the Builder ain't the real story. The real story is how fast people change their opinions when the crowd changes, when the heat gets too close, and when the same energy they help normalize finally turns into real life consequences. Because out here on YouTube, everybody claims they stand on principle until the principle start costing them views. And when that happens, you find out who really has integrity and who was just wearing a morality costume for the camera. Now, Chud the Builder is facing serious legal trouble after a shooting outside of a Nashville courthouse. And I'm not here to play judge, jury, or lawyer from YouTube, but I am here to talk about the culture around him, the people who fed that culture, and the commentators who now want to act like they never ordered from that menu. Because some of the same people who used to mock people for being offended by racial language are now turning around and saying, nah, Chud went too far. And maybe he did go too far. But the question is simple. Why did it take a courthouse shooting for certain people to discover the line?
Crazy, like Chud the Builder's defenders. He says just a word, it's just a word.
It's not just a word.
Well, it's just a word, but it's got a lot of history. But it's an offensive word, right? Let's say I go
That is easily the most horrible word in any language.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that, whatever. But let's say I go into a white neighborhood, or let's just say some outdoor concert, and it's a country music concert. It's a number of white people, cowboy hats, and I take my black ass in there and I start saying offensive things to white men's white wives, like, yeah, hey, you want to be a yeah, you want some? And then the husband gets mad. He said something, and then she said something. I said, you know what, you fat, I don't want you anyway.
Yeah.
And let's say they throw a punch at me, and then I back up, pull up my gun, and shoot.
Yeah.
You think I'm justified in that? Mm-hmm. It's just words. It's my freedom of speech. Do you think I'm justified in that situation? Shooting and unaliving somebody.
Yeah.
And when I provoked and instigated the entire encounter.
It's a slippery slope for our society, too. What's going to stop a black man from going out there, flipping the script, say, hey, your wife looks like an in-lover?
You hear they new tone? Now it's about responsibility, consequences, maturity, and understanding that you can't just walk around saying anything to people and not expecting something to happen. And on the surface, that sounds right, because it is right. A grown man should know that if you keep provoking people, mocking people, and using racial language like a firecracker, eventually real life is going to answer back. But my issue is not with their message today. My issue is with the flip-flop. Because if it's wrong now, it was wrong when it was getting last. If that word carries danger now, it carried danger before Chud had a charge on his name. If public provocation is irresponsible now, it was irresponsible when people were calling it comedy, free speech, and content. See, that's how the grift works. People will help normalize the behavior while it's profitable, then condemn the person when the behavior becomes too ugly to defend. That ain't courage. That's damage control in a nice shirt. And we got to be mature enough to separate real growth from a business pivot. A person can change, absolutely. A man can get older, look back at his old words and say, I was immature, I was wrong. I helped push something I should have been pushing against. That's accountability. But if you change your position without ever owning your old position, then you're not evolving. You just moving furniture around in a burning house. And the audience needs to pay attention to that, because every loud voice on the internet is not a leader. Some people are salesmen with a microphone, and the product they sell is whatever emotion gets the most clicks. 1 week is outrage, next week is morality, next week is free speech, next week is I never even supported that type of behavior.
He ain't lying.
Some of these folks don't have a moral compass. They have a subscriber compass. They needle points whichever way the engagement goes. Now we got to talk about Chud. We got to understand the danger of content baiting. There is a whole style of internet content where people go out in public, provoke strangers, push buttons, record the reaction, then run back online acting like they were just innocent observers. But real life ain't a comment section. Real life don't let you hide behind a screen name. That's what people miss when they turn disrespect into entertainment. Because you can't mock people for years reacting to that word, then turn around after Chud gets arrested and act like you understand the weight of the word now. No, you understood it when the bill came due.
She looks like a me.
Yeah. And you provoke him, and there's some kind of fight, and then because he has the gun, he ends up shooting that white person. Like, would Chud the Builder be out there saying these things if he didn't have pepper spray and a gun?
And people, his followers, supporting him? Y'all really did that man a disservice.
Yeah, would he be saying those words?
Yeah.
He wouldn't be saying any of that stuff if he didn't have that pepper spray or that gun.
Or those followers. Or the comments, hey, man, I support what you do. The reason why he's in jail mainly is because of you guys. Y'all should have talked some sense in him. I mean, what are we trying to gain from this? So white people can use the N-word? I don't even think black people should use the N-word. I cringe when black people call each other the N-word. And you white people are like actually supporting a man going up to black strangers saying the N-word. The history behind that word, they used to hang black people and white people who defended black people. And they were Republicans. Y'all gonna defend that word? Modern day? You gonna defend that word?
Freedom of speech. Stop chimping out.
If anybody was chipping out, it was Chud. How are you gonna chip out and then when somebody gets a neurological and a mental reaction, you say they're chipping out? Does that make any sense? I mean, that's just gaslighting.
Yeah, he knows the word has a visceral reaction.
Yeah.
If it didn't, he wouldn't say the word.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying it.
Pizza is a word.
Yeah.
Feet is a word.
Yeah.
Mushroom tip is a word. Finger is a word. The N-word, that's not just a word. You can lose your life over saying that word.
You can feel the distance being created. That's the sound of people trying to step away from a man who done got too hot to stand next to. And to be fair, everybody has a right to say, I don't support that. But when you build part of your brand around telling people they were too sensitive about the same kind of language, the audience has a right to say, wait a minute. Because consistency is where integrity lives. Not charisma, not confidence, not how funny you are on camera. Integrity is whether you can say the same thing when your own side is wrong. Integrity is whether or not you can tell your audience the truth, even though they may not like it. And most people on the internet don't want that test. They want credit for being right today without accountability for being wrong yesterday. But a grown audience should not let people off that easy. Because if you're going to speak into people's minds, into their homes, cars, into their view of the world, then your words have weight. You can't collect the money from the influence and then act like you don't owe responsibility for what you helped influence. Now, this is where another point comes in. Some of these people are not having a change of heart. They grifting. They see Chud is unpopular now. They see the public reaction. They see the legal pressure. Now they want to reposition themselves like they were always on the right side of history. That's why I don't want this video to just be about Chud. Chud is the doorway. The bigger room is full of commentators who will say whatever they need to say just to get views. They don't always care about the truth. They care about where the crowd is moving. And if the crowd moves right, they lean right. If the crowd wants outrage, they give them outrage. If the crowd wants morality, they put on a serious face and start talking like somebody's uncle after church. But real principle don't need a trending topic to wake up. Real principle is there before the case, before the backlash, before the pressure, and before the person you supported became a problem.
Good show. For the most part, in America, we got equal rights. Right? But there's actually a group of people that claim to be oppressed in this country, and they set limits to what white people can say. Like, white people can't use the N-word.
That don't seem fair to me. I mean, I don't, you know what?
Especially when you came up with the word.
Yeah, you invented the word. Give them some respect. Give them the respect they deserve. They came up with the word. But y'all know how sensitive black folks are. Man, these people are crybabies. They crying and nag about everything. Oh, you can't say that. That's our word.
Well, what's the argument?
That's the racism.
Hey, so what's the argument black people make? We took that word that ends in ER, and we changed it in like a term of an endearment to greet each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's got the L on the end. She's the one with the L on the end.
Yeah.
But because this word has roots in racism and oppression, because the word has roots.
Now we got the receipt sitting right in front of us. Same subject, different position, different moment. And that's why people got to be careful who they let shape their thinking. Because some of these people are not teaching you how to think. They are training you how to react. They want you mad, laughing, defensive, tribal, and loyal. Because a loyal audience will almost excuse any contradiction. But grown people have to step back and ask better questions. Does this person stand on anything when it costs them something? Do they hold their own side accountable? Do they ever admit when they're wrong? Do they believe what they're saying? Or are they just reading the room better than everybody else? That's the kind of discernment we need now. Because the internet is full of people who sound strong, but move weak. They talk like warriors when the crowd is behind them. Then vanish into public relations language when the consequences show up. And that is dangerous for this culture. Because people watch this stuff and start copying it in real time. They start thinking disrespect is confidence. Then when something goes bad, the people who clap for it online will not be there to help. You will be standing there by yourself, holding the consequences of an audience that already moved on to the next trend. That's the lesson. Every view ain't worth your freedom. Every laugh ain't worth your name. Every viral moment ain't worth becoming a cautionary tale. And for people watching commentary, stop confusing entertainment with the truth. Somebody can make you laugh and still be leading you wrong. Somebody can sound fearless and still be full of fear when the pressure comes. So when you see people flip-flop, don't just get mad. Study it. Watch the timing. Watch the language. Watch what they own and what they avoid. Watch whether they say I was wrong or whether they just start acting like the old clips don't exist. Because the old clips do exist. The internet remembers better than some people's conscience. And in this Chud situation, the bigger warning is simple. Don't let people who profit off chaos teach you about character only after the chaos gets too expensive. Don't let people who laughed at disrespect yesterday become your moral leaders today without asking what changed. And don't let any commentator, including me, think for you so much that you stop listening to your own discernment. Because at the end of the day, a man's word still matters. A man's position still matters. And when a man keeps changing positions based on who's watching, that ain't growth until they tell the truth about what changed. That's what this whole story is about. Chud may be the headline, but the flip-flop is the lesson. And if you pay attention, you will see it everywhere. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.